Welcome back to First Take. Rookie Drew Allar entered to the chance of Drew. He threw for a pair of touchdowns and ran for another for the Steelers. In total, 10 of 13, 154 yards. Dan, how much stock do you put in Drew Allar's debut last night?
A lot. The production finally matched the potential and the hype. I've been following Drew since he was a true freshman going to Penn State. Been a big fan of his game. This young man is 6'5", 235, 240 pounds, really good athlete. But the play never matched kind of what he should be. And then all of a sudden, you watched last night the one thing. The feet were immensely better, significantly cleaner. That's always been a flaw of his. Short time with Mike McCarthy and staff, all of a sudden that improves. And then all of a sudden the arm starts to shine. And so if I'm the Steelers and the Steelers fans and I'm watching just the way it looked last night, I'm like, all right, we have something to work with. The talent is uncoachable talent. It's untapped. This is a great starting point. I'm not telling everybody he's your future guy, but there's a lot to like in comparison to what we saw at Penn State.
To your point, the first completion that he had in breaking route ends up being on time, ends up resulting in a huge catch-and-run opportunity, 74-yard gain, explosive play in the passing game. They didn't have enough of that in Pittsburgh last year, or if we're being honest, post-Big Roethlisberger. And so Drew Allar certainly has the traits. If Mike McCarthy can find a way to be able to harness that and get that on a more consistent basis against a step up in competition when he's with the twos or the ones, then all of a sudden you can have the idea of Drew Allar factoring into the math when it comes to the long-term solution at the quarterback position in Pittsburgh. So I like what I saw last night. He's got the movement skills. He's got the arm talent. He's a big guy. They've had success with guys like that, with quarterbacks like that within that organization. So a lot to love with Drew Allar's performance.
Here's how it goes. At the end of the day, we look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we've known for a long time that they've always been defense first. Now they have an offensive-minded coach. And how are you going to get this kid better? You get him better in practice. Allow him to go against the ones where he's servicing the defense, and then you can coach him up. Rarely do you see players throughout the season improve. He's going to improve dramatically because he's going against a top-tier defense. He's going to have to make those adjustments, be coached up, but still at the same time mimic all these different types of quarterbacks throughout the year because he's not playing today. He's not playing, he's not playing tomorrow or the other 3 months. But he will develop and be coached every single day and go against a top-tier defense where you can see what you need to do and be coached up in coachable moments by going through it in practice.
Steve, help me out here, because I don't know that you can altogether dismiss the fact that Drew Allar might have to play in the regular season. You got a 42-year-old, soon-to-be 43-year-old quarterback in Ben Roethlisberger.
What is the deal with you this morning? You are throwing these young bucks to the wolves.
I'm not.
Hey, I-95, go. Just got your license. Get in New York.
Merge.
Right?
Merge with the trucks.
Yeah, use your blinker. Don't worry about it.
Wait a minute. Is it off the table that Aaron Rodgers?
Playing quarterback in the NFL is safer than driving on the crossbrook. Let me just put it out there.
I know. That's why I was driving.
Let me say this, though. When it comes to the reality of Aaron Rodgers, he's going to be 43 years old before the season ends.
Hey, you're probably playing Mason Rudolph.
But that's my question,
Who
though.
looked pretty good.
I guess what you're trying to figure out then, if you are in a situation where you have to deal with an injury to your starting quarterback in Pittsburgh, who's the guy that you're turning to?
Yeah, I mean,
because at that point, is your season over? And if it is, then are you going to go with Mason Rudolph, who's a known quantity, or are you going to go with Drew Allar? Are you going to go with Will Howard? I think those are a part of the conversations that have to be had, and a lot of that's going to be determined by what you see in the remainder of the preseason.
I think that's a fair question, and to your point, what's it look like in practice up until last night, after last night, the rest of the games? In relation to Drew Allar, CC, I would say this, I was a fifth-round pick. If you took my highs, my greats, I'm still a fifth-round pick because I was not this physical phenom.
Yep.
If you take Drew Allar's highlights, just the stuff that he's done really good at Penn State, or even last night, you're going, that's a first-round pick, right? Now, there's been lows, and you're trying to minimize the lows, and there's been moments when he's shrunk, and so you're trying to figure out the why of that. But there's only so many cats in that league at that position that if you just took the things that they've done and or can do well, you sit there and say, there's a first-round pick. So that's the incumbent upon the coaching is, all right, if we can get rid of some of the things that are the valleys, the lows, and understanding the why they happened, and we get that out of his game, then there's a first-round pick, and then for a team that's probably going to be 9-8, you're not picking early in next year's draft. You're sitting there going, we might have found a quarterback that's part of our future.
So then, Steve, what is the role of Aaron Rodgers in this possible succession plan here?
Well, out in front, everybody's going to say Aaron Rodgers needs to do this. He needs to be that. Aaron Rodgers is going to be his mentor, right? It'll be a mentor by just example of how he conducts himself, right, in the quarterback room, all of those things. Sometimes we get so infatuated with, can a guy, will he lead? Will he do this? Will he do that? Man, whether you're around these guys so much, you guys have conversations. They ask you questions. You have just conversations sitting in the meeting rooms, standing over on the sideline, questioning. Those things are going to happen. I really, truly believe Aaron Rodgers has been unique at times. But I also know Aaron Rodgers wants to win, but he also wants to have a legacy to say, hey, I know this kid. I was in this kid's life. We all, as human beings, want to see guys be successful and sit back when no one's watching and go, man, I knew that sucker was going to be good. When we had that conversation back in his rookie year here, that aha moment. Every veteran wants to be able to look at a player when he's done in his eyes and go, I knew you had it. Yeah. Right? That's important. That is extremely important. And you could say it's not, but it is. Yeah. It's in every man.
And all actions have shown he does feel that way about Jordan Love. So why would he not take that action in this case?
Especially because he knows how it feels not to be mentored.
Yeah. Well, learning is what to do and what not to do, maybe, in some cases there. Josh Allen has certainly learned what to do. He's awesome. He's scheduled to play in the Bills' preseason opener with head coach Joe Brady confirming that all healthy starters, including the QB, will take the field on Saturday at brand new Highmark Stadium. We'll get to see.
That would be Pittsburgh said no one ever. And talk about another rookie quarterback performance. Dano, Steelers' third-round pick, Drew Allar, got some playing time yesterday and looked pretty good.
I thought he was exceptional. You know, the big thing for Drew Allar was it finally felt like and looked like the player and the production matched the hype. I've been following Drew Allar since he was a true freshman at Penn State. Such a highly recruited young man. And the potential was always the potential. It never actually played itself out on the field. And last night, what stood out was the feet were infinitely better, infinitely cleaner than his time at Penn State. The Mike McCarthy effect. If that is the starting point for this young man who's 6'5", 240 pounds, and could throw the ball through gale force winds. Gale force winds?
Gale force.
Yeah. Gale force winds.
Yes. Tropical storm.
This is an outstanding start for this young man.
This is exactly what you want from a third-round pick. You want to be able to develop a guy. He can sit and watch, whether you like Aaron Rodgers or not, where you believe he's if he's going to be a mentor. Aaron Rodgers is going to mentor him because he's sitting in a room. Aaron Rodgers, every question, every statement, everything he says in a room, everybody's listening. So this whole narrative that Aaron Rodgers is not a very friendly person, I think it's hogwash. He is a guy, and he has changed, and he also understands what this can do for the Pittsburgh Steelers overall when he can sit back. We all want to sit back and say, I helped that kid.
Sure.
And he has the opportunity to help a kid just like Jordan Love that you can go, people on the outside may not know our relationship, but the folks on the inside know that he really cares and he wants that young man to do well.
Yeah, that was underlined when you saw Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers greet each other in the pregame last night. It is clear that there's a relationship there and that it was a good one. So this highlights the parallel tracks these Steelers are on right now. You hire Mike McCarthy. In part, one of their stated reasons for doing so is they felt like he had a track record of developing young quarterbacks. Also, you're hiring him because you think he's the experienced coach that can get you past the first round of the playoffs this year with Aaron Rodgers. So the Steelers are trying to accomplish two things at the same time. Win now and find their long-term answer at quarterback. Is third-round rookie Drew Allar going to be that? I don't know. They don't know either. He's a third-rounder. But they can use this year to find that out to some extent and then set up what they need to do next year. Will Howard, the sixth-round pick last year. Drew Allar, third-round pick this year. Some options, but they're not overly committed to either one.
If you took just the positives of Drew Allar, whether it was his traits or his tape, he would be a first-round potential quarterback. Okay? Now, there was downsides, maybe because of some of the things that were a part of Penn State when it comes to the lack of players on the perimeter, his lack of own development, and whether that was
late game turnovers in big spots.
Totally, yes. Shrunken moments, no question. But the why of that. But if you are just playing the hits, there's first-round potential there. And so I think if you're the Steelers and you've been seeing some of the stuff that you've seen and by reports in practice from the young man, and you watched it last night, there's a lot to sit back and go, all right, let's continue on this track of developing this young man, because maybe they didn't need that first-round pick at the position, and they have a guy in Drew Allar that's certainly part of that conversation.
Steelers, go ahead.
We definitely have seen actual first-round draft picks not look that clean and not look that fluid.
100%. Absolutely.
So we need to stop worrying about where a guy gets drafted. We need to start.
What do you look like?
Yeah. What do you look like, and can you play?
Yeah.
Right. And then what we don't get to hear, we get to hear behind the scenes. What we don't get to hear naturally, a lot of times, is what he was not given in college. A lot of these college coaches, unfortunately, don't have the ability to coach the player. They end up coaching the playbook. Because if you take your time trying to develop a kid, he gets mad.
He's gone.
He gets mad when Chick-fil-A is not open on Sundays on campus, and it ain't open nowhere.
Yeah.
But they think because my NIL money, and I'm the guy, that you're supposed to move mountains for me. That is the problem with college football. But now you don't have that. You're in the pros.
So you end up with Drew Allar sitting there in the third round. You're the Steelers. You're thinking long term. Hey, Mike McCarthy, what do you think? Well, there's talent here. I can fix the feet in one off season. Let's see if we can get him in the bill. It's only a third-round pick. If it doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world. It's not like we're taking Kenny Pickett in the first, to use a random example. But, I think I think if you're a Steeler fan, you come out of last night thinking, boy, it'd be fun. It'd be fun if the Penn State kid turned out to be the guy.
What would you do with Allar for the next start? How would you approach it?
I would continue to just focus on the development of his feet. You know, I think that the more you expose him to different situations and settings and getting him to play faster and quicker is going to be important. But there's only so much of that you can control. You can simulate some of that in practice, but exposing him to different situations. Maybe you're getting him some reps with, defensive linemen that might be more of the starting quality defensive lineman and seeing how he handles that. But if this young man continues to work at it, there's only, a huge trajectory to go up. I think if you're the Steelers who are walking away, I'll mention Jeremy Bernard as well. I thought Jeremy Bernard last night was very impressive for the Steelers too. So, you're sitting there going, all right, there's a lot that we've liked from our rookie so far.
11 penalties for 134 yards.
I mean,
welcome back preseason football. Coming up, what's a realistic